everyone, welcome to our channel. I'm Rach.
And I'm Jack, and on this channel we'll be creating more content all revolved around property, finance and some travel and food.
We hope you enjoy our videos.
So hello guys, welcome to our first financial video. Today we're here in our Duke Street project in Brighton in the Lanes, and today we're giving you a video on what do we invest in, just to give you an idea of what we get up to, what do we invest in and the sort of opportunities that are out there really. First up, we are just going to go over like the importance of diversifying and not really putting all your eggs in one basket, because I mean, just like the market crash in 2008, if you had all your money in housing, you would have lost everything essentially. So we just make sure that we're sort of wise and clued up with all the investments out there and just split up accordingly just to make sure.
So for the majority of our larger funds, we like to put these in fixed investments, and we'll just give you a quick overview on what fixed investments are.
What is fixed investing? So the majority of ours are debt lending essentially. So these come with a set term time of roughly about 12 to 18 to 24 months. They're pre-agreed at the beginning for the return that you'll be earning. So these can range from anywhere to 8 to 12%. Normally the interest is rolled up until the end, and this is very handy for some people for tax efficient purposes, and they can come with a range of securities depending on what sort of your criteria are, but normally we like to have a second or first charge on our money, and sometimes even a personal guarantee from the developer themselves.
So we've currently got 3 larger fixed investments with bigger developers. These are all on slightly different terms. So one of them is on a 12-month term with the interest rolled up and paid at the end, and this is a 12 to 15% return. Then there's also another one which is again fixed for 12 months but paid monthly. And the third one is a slightly smaller fixed investment with a first charge, and this is on a 24-month term with 24% interest for the 2 years.
Our second largest form of investments that we get up to is within the emergency housing sector. This is for boroughs all throughout London, and it's something we're quite passionate about because it's not only a win for the investor, which is me, you or us guys, it's also quite beneficial to the local community, and it's just giving back and making that social impact. So with emergency housing, the returns can be higher, but there is different kind of risk levels here. So we don't, compared to the fixed investing, we don't achieve a second charge or a first charge or personal guarantee or stuff like that. So to mitigate the risk, the returns are higher. This particular one is paid back monthly. So this is monthly interest paid back on the original amount, and also capital back monthly too.
This was quite an interesting investment for us because it was definitely something different. As we said, normally with the fixed investments they are paid back yearly, but yeah, having one which was paid back monthly was quite nice, wasn't it? And just something a little bit different for our investment portfolio.
Yeah, and it's also quite beneficial as it gives us our monthly cash flow as well, which can be a really big benefit.
Yeah, so I think this is also just a really good example of how you can use investing for cash flow as well. So for the next 2, Jack's going to talk about these because he is the expert in these field. We do both sort of invest in these together, don't we? But you sort of take the lead with choosing what we invest in.
Yeah, so our next one is gold. So this isn't a major one that we invest in, but it is definitely something that everybody should be looking at. As it's a commodity, it's a relatively depreciating asset. There's only ever going to be a finite amount, and the demand is always going to go up. So there is only one way in which this price can go, essentially. And it just hedges against all of the stuff that we've been seeing, all of the printing of money everywhere in the world, really. Which just devalues the actual currency itself. So gold is a good hedge against that for any depreciating currencies out there.
I think it's just a good storage of wealth basically, isn't it? Just somewhere
different. Yeah, it's a good generational wealth asset, and it's something I will be getting into heavier as I get older. But at this point, as we are both younger, the sort of rule of thumb is you can play a bit riskier with your investments as you've got more time to sort of recoup. But as I get older, I will be readjusting my investments to play a safer bet, really. Next one is crypto. Obviously this was massive, and the whole bull run of the previous cycle got everyone's interest up. But it's something I've been involved in for quite a while now. Was involved in the technical analysis and the day trading, but with everything going on I had to readjust on what I was doing there. So mainly with crypto, I'm in the staking space. And I don't know if you some of these small cap coins can create crazy returns, but I just stick to the top 10 really, and then the stable coins as well. And some of these can produce, depending on where they are and the sort of where the project is at the time. Let's say the US dollar on some places can earn around 8% per annum, which is quite secure because it is pegged to the dollar. Whereas on some of the more volatile currencies, you can earn up to 20 to 30 to 40, and even some of them can go up to 100, depending if you know what you're doing. So that's also quite a good one. But crypto is extremely volatile, so I wouldn't recommend it for everyone. Definitely seek some advice before that one.
Yeah, and that's also something that we put a percentage of our company profits into as well.
Yeah. So all of our profits, we both believe in crypto for the long term. It's a pioneering thing. And what we do is dollar cost average into crypto, so we try and get the best price overall. But then it's for long term, really. We're never gonna buy anything. We're never gonna sell it. Sorry. But in 5 to 10 years, you never know. We're hoping it's going to go sky high. So is everyone else. So yeah, that's sort of what we do. But
and finally, the last one is our own projects. So these are property development projects, mainly sort of commercial conversions, HMOs, that sort of thing. But yeah, we do invest our own money in there.
The current project that we're in was a big mixed-use office to HMO conversion with a shop on the bottom. This was a beautiful conversion, as you may have seen on our Instagram. You can go follow any further projects on there. But this was a perfect one, and something that we will be doing more of in the future, just for generating wealth and cash to invest in other assets.
And I think people invest in their own projects in different ways with money. I mean, for us, we sort of do this actually on a fixed investment basis, don't we? So sometimes we do actually charge our projects interest on our own funds and do it that way. That can also be a really good way to do it if we put in different amounts, perhaps. Yeah. I mean, generally we do everything 50-50, but yeah, that's something that we like to do. So we sort of have the investment as something separate, even though it's in our own project.
So when getting involved in multiple different assets and different markets in the investment world, it is essential that you find the right people to give you the right advice. We definitely have not done it alone. We've got a big team that we surround ourselves with that know much more than us in a lot of aspects of it. So, and they're worth their weight in gold. They might cost some on the upfront, but they will save you loads on the exit. So I definitely recommend finding a good team, as everyone says, a good power team around you, and solidify that to really get the best advice and for the long-term vision of what you're trying to achieve. And I always find for myself it's important to have a goal in mind to where we want to go, but not too far. There's a book I can definitely recommend called The 12-Week Year, which separates the year into smaller goals and a lot more achievable, and that's definitely helped me get to where I am and just keep accountable, really.
I think it's also important to mention that these are things that work for us and work for our goals and what we want to invest in, but it is important that you make sure you do your research properly. If there's something that you want to invest in, definitely don't just do it because someone's told you it's a good idea or you've just seen someone else doing it. So yeah, I just think that's something also that's very important, and just do your research into the developers. You know, if you've got a PG with them, can they actually afford to pay you back on the PG, and all that sort of thing.
I mean, I've definitely had my fair share of FOMO. Early on in my investing career, it was a painful experience, but I've definitely learned my lesson, made those losses back, and going with a risk mitigated mind and a plan before I've even lended money or anything. But due diligence, as Rachel said, is the key. Make sure you do your due diligence on the companies that you're getting involved with. Companies' House is an open book for all of these people, and you can see everything they're involved in, all of their sort of recent details. So just make sure that you protect yourself, get any agreement in place that you may need and signed, and get a solicitor, like we said, the power team, to check things over. As I said, they are worth their weight in gold, because if anything does come to a default and you haven't read over that agreement properly, it can be a very painful and expensive experience.
So we hope you found this video useful. If you do have any questions about any of the investments that we're involved in or anything else, please do feel free to give us a message.
You'll find us on Instagram at RJ Land and Development, or LinkedIn, Jack Truman or Rachel C. So if you have any questions or anything, let us know.